Chapter 1 on the origin of the Devas and Asuras. 1. After bowing down to Narayana, Nara, the best of men, and also to the goddess Saraswati, one should recite the mythological story. 2. I bow down to the eternal, omnipresent, immutable and pure being, the Supreme Being, from whom this entire Maya universe with its vast variations arose, in whom it was established, in whom it was finally dissolved in subsequent eons, and by meditating on whom, the sages attain eternal liberation without the shadow of worldliness. 3. I bow to Hari, who is blissful, immaculate, omnipotent, without qualities, beyond the manifest and unmanifest states, unworldly, attainable only by meditation, omnipresent and the destroyer of the cycle of births and the giver of eternal liberation. The scholar meditates on him at the time of Samadhi, he is like pure space, the abode of eternal bliss and the merciful Lord, free from all impurities and qualities. He is without multiplicity, he is beyond the manifest and unmanifest. He is the Supreme, comprehended only by meditation. He is the cause of the destruction of the world's existence and unmanifest. 4-12. In the most sacred, charming and most holy Nimisha forest, the sages performed a great sacrifice that lasted 12 years. That forest had trees like Sala, Karnikara, Panasa, Dhava, Khadira, Amra, Jambu, Kapitta, Nyagrudha, Doda, Aswatha, Parijita, Chandana, Arjuna, Champaka and others. Many kinds of birds and animals lived there. It was rich in Aguru, Patla, Bakula, Saptparna, Punnaga, Nagakesra, Sala, Tamala, Narikela and Arjuna. It was beautifully decorated with many trees, Champaka and other trees, adorned with various types of water bodies like ponds and holy lakes. It was rich in people of different castes like Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, people of all walks of life, students, householders, forest dwellers and ascetics. It was rich in various kinds of birds, cows and cattle and a store of barley wheat, chickpeas, pulses, beans, sesame and sugarcane and other plants. It was adorned with a store of paddy and other fresh vegetables. There a bright, sacred fire was lit in that forest and the sages performed sacrifices for 12 years. Thus the sages and other Brahmins assembled there. 13-14. The Brahman guests were duly welcomed and honored by the hosts, along with the priests who were seated appropriately. In the meantime Romaharshana, the wise Sutta, arrived. The great sages were very happy to see him and they honored him accordingly. 15. He also bowed down to them and occupied a seat of honor. The Brahmins conversed with the Sutta for some time. 16. At the end of the preliminary conversation, the sacrifices, along with the priests and other honored guests who had gathered there, wanted to clear their doubts by asking him questions. The sages said, 17. O noble one, you are well versed in the Puranas, Agamas and other sacred texts as well as traditional stories. You know the origin and exploits of the gods and demons. 18. There is nothing in the Vedas, Shastras, Bharat, Puranas and Moksha texts that you do not know. O most intelligent one, you are omniscient. 19-21. We want to know how this entire visible world, consisting of the Sutta, the gods, the Asuras, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Rakshasas and the serpents, along with moving and immobile beings, arose in the beginning. Where did it merge? Where does it dissolve? Lomaharshana said, 22-30. Salutations to Vishnu, the unchanging, mysterious, unchanging form, and the all-conquering universal soul. Salutations to Hiranyagarbha, Hari. and Shankara, the protector of Vasudeva, the cause of creation, sustenance, and destruction. Salutations to Vishnu, the one who has single and multifaceted forms. Salutations to the gross and subtle deity. Salutations to Vishnu, the manifest and unmanifest, and the cause of liberation. Salutations to Vishnu, the Supreme Soul, who is the source of creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe and is identical with the universe. I salute the uncreated Purushottama, the supporter of this great and small world, gross and subtle. He is truly undefiled. He has the form of perfect knowledge. He is in the form of this visible world in our illusory vision. I bow down to Vishnu, the servant of the universe, the Lord of creation and life, the omniscient, the Lord of the universe, the one who is without birth and death, the unchanging, and the primeval, subtle Lord of the universe. I bow down to Brahma and others. I bow down to my Lord Guru, the son of Parashara and the one who knows the essence of the significance of all the scriptures and Puranas. He is the master of the Vedas and the Vedangas. After bowing down to my Lord Guru, I will explain a Purana similar to the Vedas. 31. I will mention it in the same way that Daksha and other great sages, when asked in the past, mentioned Brahma, who was born in a lotus. 32. Listen to the wonderful story that I am telling you now, and it is meaningful. It is supportive of what is mentioned in the Vedas. I will tell you a story that will free people from sins. 33. This story is often told. He who constantly remembers this retains his family forever and is respected in heaven. 34. The Prime is the eternal and manifested cause, which has the nature of Sat, existence, and Asat, non-existence. The Purusha, the Lord, has emerged from it. 35. O great sages, know that He is Brahma, the one with unlimited radiance. He is the creator of all beings. He is Narayana, the Supreme. 36. The universal ego, is born from Mahat, great principle. From Mahat, the Bhutas, elements, are born. From the elements, the various kinds of beings are born. Thus is the eternal creation. 37. This is being glorified with the details of all the elements according to my intelligence and as I have heard. Now listen to it. This will increase the fame of all of you. 38 to 40. The fame of those who have done meritorious deeds and whose fame is eternal is declared here. The Lord, desiring to create various kinds of things from the unmanifest principle, created the waters in the beginning. He filled them with power. The waters are called Nara, those born of Nara, human. The waters are the offspring of Nara. In the beginning, they are his refuge. That is why he is remembered as Narayana. He took the form of an egg in a golden womb and floated on the water. 41 to 42. Brahma himself was born there. We have heard that he is the Lord. The golden-colored Lord stayed there for a year and divided the egg into two, heaven and earth. In the middle of these two parts the Lord created the sky. 43 to 45. He kept the earth floating on the water. He created 10 quarters, as well as mind, speech, love, anger and joy. Desiring to develop creation in accordance with these, he created the Prajapatis, lords of people, namely Marichi, Atri, Angiras, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu and Vasishtha. Thus the Lord of great radiance created 7 sons of the mind. These are called in the Puranas the 7 Brahmas. 46. After the 7 sons of Brahma, who were equal to Narayana, Brahma, in his anger, created Rudra. 47. He created Sanat Kumara, the eldest of all his previous sons. O Brahmins, From these 7 were born people and Rudras, 48 to 50. Skanda and Sanat Kumara remained there, absorbing their radiance. 7 great families, consisting of groups of gods, were of divine nature, born from the 7 Brahmas. They had offspring and they performed sacred rituals. Those families were adorned by great sages. In the beginning, Brahma created lightning, thunder, clouds, amber-colored rainbows, birds and Parjanya, lord of the clouds. He composed the Rikus, Yajus and Sama to perform sacrifices.